Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Monday, October 2nd, 2023. I'm so excited. I'm like tripping over my own words. It is Chicago Marathon Week. I'm back from Italy. I've got a very exciting package. At least I think that's what it is. Very exciting package here that I'm going to unbox with you. So there's just so much to go over with you guys today. I'm super excited. But before we do, let's say hi to everyone listening on the audio only version on the podcast. Hopefully you guys are having a good run out there today and being careful. A lot of the country is super hot. It's super hot here. Yesterday, Twin Cities Marathon and 10 miler was canceled because it was going to be so hot. This is really strange weather. We normally get like a really hot stretch, and there's been years where the Chicago Marathon has been canceled, like middle of the race they would call it, because it just got so hot. But I don't think it's been like this. It's not been like this before. It's been wild. So hopefully you guys are staying safe out there. And for everyone else watching this later but not live, welcome to the #1 running podcast to listen to talk about what they call quarter pounders in Venice, Italy. So hopefully you guys are enjoying. All right, let's see who we got here in the chat. Run the World says, fantastic runners weekend in Italy. It was amazing, with an Italian flag emoji. Yeah, that video just went out about an hour ago. Finally got it edited together. I had such a fantastic time running there in Italy. And I particularly enjoyed it because, so many levels of enjoying it, but what sets it apart from like when I did the hut trip in Colorado is that this one, same thing with like being in Chamonix, there's a lot of elevation gain, and it's some of the most technical terrain I've ever seen, but it's not at like 12,000 feet. It's at like 7,000 feet. So it's definitely like doable. So it was really, really nice. Brian Lang says, oh, I'm sorry, Brian says, the shakeout sold out before I got tickets. I want a Coast shirt. Yeah, unfortunately with the timing, we got all the information ready while I wasn't here. So I put the link in the Kafuzi Run Club group. And that was the only place that I put it. And then Thomas was super cool. And he had made a graphic for us for the shakeout run. And it didn't have the link. It was just saying, like, here's the date and time when it's going to be. But the only place that you could have gotten the link was from the Strava group. And, like, I think not even overnight, and within a handful of hours, all 150 spots sold out. I mean, it was a free ticket, but, like, they were all accounted for. And people have been messaging me and stuff like that. But it's like, and everyone can come to the run. And I hope to see you guys there. I'll definitely be there early to say hi to everybody that wants to come and join in on the shakeout run. But it is going to be a point-to-point run. And only the people that have tickets will be able to come in for pizza, because fire code and space constraints and T-shirt limitations. So that's going to be, unfortunately, a limiting factor there. So I'm really sorry, guys. I'm thinking next year we'll have to do an even, maybe we'll have to go to a bigger venue. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know how much bigger these things really need to be. You know what I mean? I don't want you guys to feel bad. Is it like, should I just have 2 events? I could shake out run twice, I guess. You know, I could have pizza twice. You know, and we'll just rent the pizza place out for a long time, but have 2 shifts or something. I don't know. We all have to think about something. But hopefully I'll still be able to see you guys over the weekend. All right. Daniel Burton says, it's nice to have you back. It's nice to be back, Daniel. I missed you guys. Going a whole week without talking to you guys was weird. And Frank says, did anyone have the misfortune of having the Twin Cities Marathon as an A race? Yeah, there was. I think there was a couple of people that I knew that were going to be running it. I didn't know that Laura Thweet was going to be running it there. I don't know if she was running the 10 mile or the marathon. I'm guessing it was probably going to be the 10. Maybe it would have been the marathon. But either way, 86-degree forecast high is a lot. And Mohit Chaudhry says, how likely is it that the Chicago weather will be close to what's predicted for next Sunday? It's either going to be exactly correct or completely wrong. That's just how it is. We have a saying around here, Mohit, that says in Chicago, if you don't like the weather, wait a day, because it'll be completely different the next day. Or it could be completely different the next day. This is the time of year where I just turned the air conditioning on right now in the house. And we could just as likely there's always that 1 week, both in the spring and in the fall, where you have to turn on the air conditioner at one point of the week and the heater in another part of the week. That's just how it goes around here. So hopefully this is the air conditioning part of the week, and then the end of the week will be balmy. But so far, the weather forecast looks like it's going to be pretty much perfect racing weather, like 40 degrees for the low, somewhere near that for the start. The lake does buffer temperatures a little bit, so it'll be chillier here in the suburbs, but it'll probably be like low 40s. It feels like low 40s. And then it'll be a high of 60. Moderate winds, nothing crazy. So it could be perfect racing conditions. We'll see. But who knows? Things can change. It's that time of like this is about when I start posting daily, like what the weather forecast is going to be for everyone. And we always get to see how much it changed. Sean Devlin says, watching the Dolomites video during lunch, maybe wish I had a pizza and pepperoni instead of a sad salad. Hey, you know what though? Let me tell you this. It was a very international group. Only like a third of the people spoke English in this group. So there was a lot of Spanish and French and some German that needed to be spoken. I don't speak very much of any of those. I can do enough to kind of like follow along with what people were saying. But the universal was that we were all surprised that we didn't see any pizza in any of the refugios. So it's like a hut-to-hut trip. And these huts, they're a little bit more established than like the huts I did on the 10th Mountain Division run, where it's not just like a shelter. These are like kind of like little roadside lodges. And they're run as hotels, and they have everything from single rooms to bunk rooms. Like the second night, I slept with like 6 other people in a big bunk room. And but they have like a bar and restaurants and stuff like that, and you can get coffee and food. But the food was always polenta, cheese, beans. Those are cheese and beans. Polenta and beans were like the vegetarian options, or like pasta with like deer meat ragu. So like all week, all we ate was like pasta and polenta and cheese. And we were like, "Where's the pizza? This is Italy." I didn't get any pizza until I got to Venice at the end of the trip. It was wild. Eliza says, seeing the shorts about Venice made me want to go back. It still looks so beautiful. It's an amazing place. And, I've heard that it's no longer sinking. Like, wasn't it like irretrievably sinking like a few years ago? And they were saying like with climate change that it's going to go the way of Atlantis at some point. And I thought that they said it was better now. Like the situation wasn't as dire. But it's beautiful, and I'm glad I got a chance to see it in my lifetime. Mark says, I was set to run the 10-miler at Twin Cities. Ooh, just a tune-up as I head towards New York City, but I was fine with it. It was a bummer, but it was the right thing to do. I went for a 12-mile run at 10 a.m., and it was very hot. Yeah. It is the right call. 86 degrees for the high for a marathon. Yeah. I mean, the way that they also phrased it in like the cancellation emails that I saw that went out was like, it's not only taxing on the runners, but it's taxing on the aid stations, which may not have had enough resources for the sudden increase in temperature, and also on like health and emergency services, so it's really sucks, but that is, I think, the right call. Gilad Eliyahu says, speaking of languages, what's your favorite one and which would you like to learn? I've always been a Francophile. So I grew up learning Spanish in school, so I can kind of, if people are speaking Spanish, I can kind of hear it. Although, there were a lot of Spaniards Spanish, being spoken. And it was just too fast. I didn't understand most of it. But I think I would love to be able to learn to speak French. I took French for a year. The only French that I was able to say when I was on this Dolomites trip, because there was someone with me that she didn't speak any. She lived in Lyon, and she doesn't speak any English or very little. She said she spoke no English, but her English was way better than my French. But the only thing I could tell her in French was, it's been 20 years since I studied French, and I don't speak French. Those are the only two things that I could say. But yeah, I would love to learn French a little bit more. Yeah, that'd be a fun one. Italian also seemed very fun. Italian is just both Italian and French are just so melodic. There's so much intonation that I think is a lot of fun to say. So I think I would like those. New Betra says, Ben Johnson mentioned seeing a lot of people doing their own solo marathons around him after the cancellation since he's out there. That makes sense. I could, because I know there was a couple other Minnesotans that I follow on Instagram, and they did the same thing. They put their bibs on and went out for group runs together. And Luke Klein says, come on, though. How hot and humid was New York City last year? New York City was mid-70s. This was forecast to be 10 degrees hotter. So that was the forecast high. And Tony says, what's going on, Tony? He says, hey, quick question. What size do you wear in the Bandit Super Beam half tights? I wear medium. The mediums work fine for me. They are a little bit on the snug side, though. I don't, Tony, I think you got more muscle than I do. I think you might want to go to the large. Adam Fear says, Portuguese is like Spanish with rhythm. Portuguese is so hard for me. So I have cousins that grew up in Brazil, so they speak Brazilian Portuguese. And then one of my neighbors is Portuguese. And so I hear it, whenever I hear Portuguese, it sounds like Spanish, but then you're like, I don't understand a word that was just said. But it is much more lyrical. I mean, not that Spanish isn't lyrical, you know, but I just think that Portuguese is just like, it's confusing because it's like, I should understand at least a little bit of what that was, but it's just like, I don't know what that was. Tales de Mileto says, hey, Co, do you think the floods in New York might affect the marathon? I don't think so. No, I don't think it was. And Brian says, I thought Korean was the best sounding and smooth of the East Asian languages. I think all the East Asian languages are I would not say smooth is not the word that I would use for any of them. They're all quite jarring to me equally. I wish I could speak Korean better. But I'm not willing to put in the work for it. And I do wish that I could speak Japanese a little bit. At least a little bit more than I do now. Like enough to like navigate a little bit better. You know? Yeah. All right. Let's get to the box. So this is a box. I actually got 2 packages from Adidas. But I think you guys are going to want to see what's in this one. It's a very light box. I think you guys know what it is. I really hope it's what I think it is, because then otherwise we're all going to be very disappointed. But this is a shoe that I didn't think that they would be sending me, frankly. But let's see what it's like on the inside. Look at that. The box fits perfectly inside the box. No wasted box. And what we have is Adizero Adios Pro Evo 1. Whew. Comes with a bag. It feels like it's made out of Tyvek on one side and just mesh on the other. But this is a cool little, it's not a track bag. It's like a little tote. And it's got like a compartment for each foot. There's a little divider in the middle. So a bag in here. And then there's a card with lots of information on it. Yeah, mostly just detail kind of stuff. Oh, okay, here we go. Here's the thing that Thomas was talking about. I was listening to him talk about it on one of the podcasts. And he says, Adidas says, we recommend this racing shoe only for the most experienced and advanced runners, ideally with a marathon time of under 3 hours to 3.5 hours. So I'm just barely coming in there. Whew, interesting. And then, oh my goodness, here it is. Look at this shoe. It is incredibly light. I have shoe number 58 out of 521. Wow. And there's even an insert in here. With it out, it's even lighter. But crazy light. It feels like, you know what this feels like? This feels like when you go to IKEA and there's books on the shelf and you pick it up and it's a shell and it's made out of plastic and it's fake. This is like the shoe version of that. It is crazy light. And here's the question that I think everyone thought I was joking about. So there's this, like, I think they're calling it liquid rubber that's on the outsole of this shoe. And there's even 2 white color matched ones here. The lighting in here is overblown, but you can kind of see the reflection. There's 2 strips of this liquid rubber on the outside. Palabra de Runner had these. He was like the first one I saw that had them. And I was like, I literally wrote in the comment, serious question, what does a liquid rubber taste like? Doesn't smell like anything. Doesn't taste like anything. How is that possible? It should taste like rubber. But it's very grippy. It's weird. And then this foam, it's non-compression molded. So it feels like all the shaping on this, it's like they've cut it. It's like someone took like a chisel and actually shaved it away. It doesn't feel like it's shaped like a regular midsole. This is really, really crazy. And then like very, very see-through. Like if you wore, I'm guessing some people would rock this with no socks, but like you will see individual toes. It's like the Injinji of shoes, I guess. But yeah, no insole in here. Or there kind of is. It's basically like last on shoe. Yeah. Like a regular lacing system, a little bit of padding in here, but even this thing is like see-through. Everything on this thing is see-through. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So, some questions. Someone was it Frank that said something about says, am I actually going to wear them? I don't have a race. Well, I do have a race coming up. So I think I'll probably take them out for a workout tomorrow. Do some marathon effort miles. Because I remember in the press like briefing that I went to virtually, they were like, it has enough mileage. Oh no, they didn't say that. Drew told me that because Drew had an interview slot. I did not get an interview slot. I did not get invited to interview anybody. But Drew did, and he sent me his notes. And Drew said that it has enough for mileage lifespan for 1 familiarization run and 1 marathon. So what I'm thinking, I'll take it for a workout. I'll do some marathon miles, threshold, and then 5K, and then some strides, pacing-wise. And then I do have the Houston Half Marathon on my calendar. So maybe I'll run the Houston Half Marathon in these. Is what I'm thinking. Jeremy Cahill says, this shoe is for serious runners only. BAA rejects need not apply. Hey, you know what I need to figure out? Do you guys know? I should just ask Steven. Steven Ganoza has been teasing that he wrote a serious runner book. Is that for real or is this a prank? Because I want the book. I really want the book. If it's a real book, I will buy it for sure. Brian wants to know what it smells like. You guys ask such weird questions. It smells more like plasticky than a normal shoe probably would. It smells like a shoe store, kind of. What's weird is this part is cold, but the foam is warm. I don't know. Duke BB22 says, "What's the shoe?" It's what's that shoe? Yeah, that'll be a hard one. Lou says you should frame those. Number 58. That's a low number. Yeah, you know what? What was it? I think for the Tracksmith, the Elliott, I think I have number 3 or something like that. Something crazy low. I don't know why. I don't know why they keep giving me these ones. Jeff Elliott wants to know if the rubber is tacky. It is. It is. Sean Devlin says it's like racing slicks. Yeah, I mean, I don't know I've never touched racing slicks of the tire, but this has like a grippiness to it. You know what I mean? So, JC says, will it last through a marathon? I don't know. Maybe not one of mine. I think at 3 hours maybe, but they said 3 to 3.5 hours. Matt Legrand is here. What's going on, Matt? He says it looks slick. It looks amazing. It looks much better in person than it did in the pictures. Matthias says that could be the difference in getting an Olympic qualifying time and not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they sent Megan Murray one, which I was like, I feel like I'd rather her have one of these than me. But I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe they did. And Cobalt Blue says, usually you don't even have to blow on this one to know it's breathable. I know. Yeah, you can tell it's breathable. You could see through it. Kurt says it doesn't look like it would be grippy. I think it's going to be plenty grippy. I think it will be. Calvin Huang says you got to go with this with no socks and let the dogs peek through. I forget what shoe I did that with. It might have been a different Adidas shoe. No, it was with the Puma Deviate Elites because those shoes were a little bit snug. Version 1. Do you remember that? I have the Tracksmith collab. Somewhere. I did it with this shoe. And it was super gross because you could totally see like toes through this one. It weirds people out when you do that. Brian says, can it even run on the cobblestone in London? It looks like Slip City. I would. The only time that it would worry me would be through the aid stations. I feel like for an elite, or sub elite, if someone's like chasing that OTQ, you're probably far enough ahead of everyone where the aid stations aren't a disaster. You know what I mean? But for me, like when I go through the aid stations at CIM, they're always slick. And when I went through the aid stations at Miami, that like I was sliding around in my Rocket X2s, Cobalt Blue says, does it feel like it would cause chasing and blister if you ran it barefoot? I think so. Because there's no like sock liner. You're standing like on the last itself. So I feel like that could cause some blistering. Matthias says, is that shoe lighter than the Nike Mayfly back in the day? I'm not familiar with the Mayfly. And I'm bummed out. I forgot to get my scale. I do have a scale. It's all over there. I have to dig it out. But I will make sure to measure it before I run in it. And Brian Lang says, how much money per mile is that? It's over $10 a mile, basically. Vincent Bevilacqua says, what does this shoe do for the competition? Is this the next Vaporfly shoe where everyone else plays catch up? I'm not sure. The main reason I didn't think I would get one of these is because this really felt like a publicity stunt almost, I didn't think that they actually wanted people to review it, but they must. So I don't know what it'll do. It just demolished a world record. So clearly it requires a strong runner to be able to do that, but it also has a pretty good pedigree already, and the shoe's only like a month old. So yeah, I don't know if this becomes like, I doubt that this will become a thing where every brand starts having a one marathon shoe. I mean, think about how hard of a time we all gave the On Cloud Boom Echo 3, and it said 4 marathons. That shoe's what, $300, $275, I think, $300. I don't remember. But yeah, so like I don't think that this will become a trend, but I do think we will definitely see. I suspect, pure speculation. I don't know anyone at Nike. I don't communicate with anyone at Nike. But like, it reminds me, I had a lot of conversations with Drew about this shoe and the Vaporfly 4% Fly Print. Isn't that what it's called? It was like a 3D printed upper that was on the shoe, and it retailed for like $1,000. And I remember it was the year that I met Tyler, his friend Tyler, chimp named Enid on Instagram. We were both waiting in line at a Nike pop-up event to get into the lottery. I didn't get it. He did. And the shoe that this guy wears a size 14, but the only shoe he was able to buy was a size 4, and he bought it so that he could collect it for a while and then flipped it, I think. So like, I think that what we will see for sure in the next year, given this, is going to be some sort of new Nike something that is going to be in the $1,000 category. Is that a real shoe? Did Elliot ever race in it? I think he wore it. There's photos of him wearing it, but I don't think he ever raced in it, So, Jeremy Cahill says he really wrote the book. It's real. Okay, I'm definitely going to buy it. And Richard Wilson says I pre-ordered the book. It's on Amazon. Okay. Luis says Amazon already has the Kindle version. All right. Okay. Nice. I'm going to have to get it. All right. Pat Turmel says, at the Rabbit meet and greet, I'll see you there, Kofuzi. Awesome. So that's definitely one where I don't think there's a cap on how many people we can have there, because I think it's in a giant, like, a meeting space. It's like a hall. So the Rabbit event, that one costs money. It's $5. But the $5 will go to proceeds. I don't know what other costs they're going to be taken out, to be honest with you, but they said proceeds will go to the Greater Food Depository. That's Chicago's area food bank. So they said that they are already going to be doing, I think that said $1,400 already. And that was like a week ago, will be given so far. So that'll be awesome. I wasn't going to go on a run, but now that there's that many people, I feel like I should probably go. And then we'll all do the meet and greet part afterwards. You know? All right. Nick Floden says it seemed like the shoe lasted well enough in Berlin. I agree. I feel like it did last well enough in Berlin. Yeah. Brian Lang says, Kovuz, you better wear those white split shorts with the Evos. It did occur to me already that I should wear this and the full Tracksmith Strata collection singlet, like the white split shorts, and then the white with the blue sash singlet with these. So then it would be like a $1,000 outfit. Pretty much. And I'd be basically naked. Everything is a $1,000 outfit there where the entire thing is see-through. I mean, that's Emperor's New Clothes, if anything else. Yeah. All right. You guys are telling me that I believe in the round. Thomas got an Evo one, but not Megan. It's a shame. I don't know. She's not my size. That's unfortunate too. Yeah. Calvin says that there's supposed to be a second release with the Adios Pro 3 outsole later this year for wet weather, and they basically made a wet and dry racing slicks. Yeah, because I didn't know this, but apparently people were confused because the outsole did not look like the outsole on the Evo 1. But apparently they had the Adios Pro 3, the Continental Rubber outsole on Acefa's shoes. So Kobe Young says you should measure the stack height before and after running in it to see how much it compresses. Yeah, that's the kind of things I don't really want to buy. I don't have calipers, and I'm not going to be able to get some before tomorrow morning, and I'm not going to wait to run in the shoe. So yeah, I'm not going to do that, but it would be an interesting measurement to take. All right, let me scroll down and keep up with you guys. I've been reading all your chats. It's very good conversation in the chat today. Scuba Sun says, a $1,000 outfit sounds like a great YouTube tagline. Should that be the short? Come with me for a run in $1,000 of clothes. $1,000 of see-through clothes. I've already put away the Tracksmith Strata collection stuff. I didn't think it was see-through, but everyone is insisting it's see-through, so I put them away. I don't know. Vanessa Martinez says, Coast Run has turned into the Victoria's Secret runway show. Naked and expensive. It's expensive, yes. Expensive. Brian says it's for the co-only fans. I feel like at some point we should just make the co-only fans because it's been such a long-running joke. I don't know what I would put there, but I think it'd be funny. Yeah, Brian says $1,000 would be an amazing clickbait video title. Calvin says that the 125 for the shorts and 125 for the singlet, maybe 50 for the hat. I thought the Strata collection was more expensive than that. I thought it was like 180 for each. I could be wrong on that. I don't know. If we need to, the Soar shorts, which I probably will wear the Soar shorts, they're marathon shorts. Those are $180. So if I get $180, then I need like a $40 hat. My Rokas are like $200, 180, maybe they're 150, something like that. So like about 200 worth of hat and sunglasses. Put some gels in there, shorts, and then an expensive singlet. That's a $1,000 outfit. BRE 1000 says, what's the serial number in your shoes? I'm number 58. Number 58. Frank says, count the watch as well. Well, yeah, the 255 is a $400 watch, right? So that makes it expensive, easy. Calvin says, "Co, you could sell the Evo one and help fund a marathon tours bid for London." LOL. Yeah, and then I would that is you will be cut off from everywhere. That I don't think there's a such thing as blacklists in this business, but if there is, selling stuff that you get is what gets you on it. New Betra says, some people in the Running Shoe Geeks group on Facebook are really furious about the Evos. What's the Running Shoe Geeks? Who's that? That's not... I don't know. I'm not in any Facebook groups, and I'm not sure who Running Shoe Geeks are. Is that someone I know? I don't know. Stevie76 says, what's more expensive, golf equipment or running gear? Golf equipment for sure. And think about greens fees. You know what I mean? That just it's a more expensive sport, I would say. Although I guess depends. The way that I've been running lately, I've been spending traveling and stuff like that. That's expensive. Let's see. Oh, people are talking about the Running Shoe Geeks is a subreddit, maybe. Dan Dalton says it's a subreddit. I'm not really on Reddit. Are you guys? That's not a place. I've been debating whether to get into subreddit, to Reddit, or into Discord. I set up a Discord server, but I also feel like saying I set up a Discord server sounds incorrect. But I can set up a Discord account, and there's nothing in it. I don't know what to do with it, you know. New Metro thinks, I think Thomas is an admin of the Running Shoe Geeks group. Adam thinks that is it Tim Gross is who's in it? I don't know. Alex S says, yo, Co, hopping around the course on Sunday or just at finished flashing the shoes? I think on Sunday, if the weather holds and it's going to be good, I'm going to pick up my bib no matter what. And I forgot that this year I paid for the VIP tent in the morning, so that I wanted to have bagels and coffee and have an indoor area to sit in beforehand. And there's beers afterwards too. But and food, like lunch. And the winners come through as well. They parade them through there like a horse. It's weird. But so I have a bib. And if the weather's good, though, I don't think I'm going to run. I'm going to follow the women around the course to see if anyone's going to make a American record attempt. But if the weather's bad, if it turns bad, then I'm going to run it, and hopefully I still haven't checked exactly for sure what number they're on. I thought for some reason they're at like 980,000 finishers. But somehow I got the idea that they're at about 960,000 Chicago Marathon finishers. So that really changes how fast I'd have to run it to have a shot at becoming the millionth Chicago Marathon finisher. If I have to be in the 20,000th, I think I have to run like a 4.5 hour marathon. If I have to be like the 40,000th finisher, then I think I have to run like a 6 hour marathon or something like that. So that's going to be different, Matt says, Co, are you coming to Portland anytime soon? I don't have any plans for Portland right now. I had this one idea about following Peter Bromka around for a little bit but that did not working out. So I don't think I'll be in Portland anytime soon. I'm planning on doing Tiger Claw next year in May. That's not in Portland though. That's going to be in outside of Seattle. So yeah. All right. Frank says, you know what? You need to tell us if you set up a Discord servers, otherwise no one else will come. Yeah, I mean, I did it. It's not on. I don't think it's like on. I don't think you can find it. But I did it to just make sure I got the name. And it was just one of those things where I was like, this seems interesting. It seems like a lot of people are doing it. I don't know if people are going to be into it or not. I don't have the energy to start it, or the time to start it and like get it populated or whatever. So it just kind of exists, but yeah. Lala P says, Yo, Co, any new update on the Rabbit Kofuzi Run Club singlet? Nothing so far. I'll be talking to Rabbit this weekend because they're going to be working with me for the shakeout run on Friday night. So we'll ask questions there. By the way, there'll be Kofuzi koozies, non-elite koozies at that Rabbit event, the Rabbit Fleet Feet event on Friday night. So for $5, you're going to get shakeout run, meet and greet time, a koozie while supplies last. So you guys should come out. Philip Say says, thoughts on the aggressive qualifying standard for next year's Boston Marathon? You need it to be 5:39 below the qualifying standard this year. Yeah, I think they'll drop everything by 5 minutes next year. That's what they did several years ago. What was it, like 2018 or 2019? They dropped it like 5 minutes, and it freaked people out. Me included. But I think that's what they'll do. Oh, Go Running Wild says, see you in the VIP tent. Well, come hang out. Because, I'm just going to get there super early. Because that's just the way security is for Chicago Marathon. Like, you're either really, really early or you're late. There's no like, oh, I got here with plenty of time. It's either like no one's here or everyone's here and people are stressing out. Adam says, forecast for Chicago on Sunday is a low 43, high 59. Seems perfect for a world record. Yeah, I think what's really going to come down to that is humidity and wind, But temperature-wise, those numbers sound just dreamy. Really good. Oh, sorry. Just kicked that. Just kicked my camera. Let me move my foot to nudge it back. All right. Jeff G says, what upcoming shoe releases are you anticipating the most? Who did I see that just put out their shoe awards? I think it was Run Testers. They were like 2023 shoe awards. And I was like, guys, there's still a couple of shoes that are coming out later this year that I think you're probably going to want to put on that list. So I don't know. It feels early. Here's the thing though. It's like, where do I draw the line for 2020? Like, do we do 2023? Best shoes of 2023, because like I'm gonna put the DV8 Nitro 2 on my 2023 list, even though it technically came out end of 2020 on my 2023 list, even though it technically came out last year, 2022. And the next DV8 Nitro I think is going to be coming out again this year, at the end of this year. Another Takumi Sen, if the trend follows, will come in like November, December. So like, do I have to wait for that? Or do I just leave the Takumi Sen 9 on the list? So there's still shoes that regularly come out every year in November. I think Thomas just showed a picture of the Vomero. I'm super excited about the Vomero. So like that's a shoe that I haven't gotten yet, but we'll be looking at. You know what I mean? So people are very. I get it. You don't want to be the last one to put out your 2023 awards, but I just feel like there's peril in being the first. I like the people that have like Ed Bud and Andy have been doing like best shoes of like spring, best shoes of up as of like from year to date, like for summer. Like that makes more sense. But like when people are like 2023, I'm like, there's shoes that still aren't out yet, guys. I think you need to wait. I don't know if I could say which ones I'm like super excited, but you can kind of figure it out, I think. Calvin Huang says, with all the talk of the Evo 1, we also need to talk about how ASICS also placed in Berlin in what looks like a new Metaspeed Sky also. Midsole is different. I did see photos of that. Now, I don't have any inside information on this, but it definitely looks different. That is, I don't know if that, it didn't look like nylon to me. I don't know if there's a new foam coming out. So that's exciting. But whether we'll get that soon or not, I don't know if that's, I don't think that's going to be a 2023 release. Go running without, sorry, I got ice in my mouth. That was a bad habit. He says, are you doing a panel in Chicago? I'm not doing a panel this year. This year, I'm just going to do a meet and greet. I was talking with Tina Muir, and she's like, just do a meet and greet. That's the part that everyone wants anyway. Not everyone actually wants to sit down for a panel. But I was supposed to do a panel, but there was a miscommunication on date, but it would have been a virtual one. It was supposed to be last Sunday. But I had to cancel because I was flying to Europe at the time. All right. Alf Dickinson wants to know what the devil is a koozie. Alf, it looks like you've got like a Guinness over here or something like that. And if you don't know what a koozie is, I'm guessing you're not American. So I'm going to say that maybe you're British. But a koozie is basically a piece of neoprene that you put around a cup or a beer can to keep the beer can cold. And also to keep your hand from getting too chilly while you're holding a frosty beverage. So they're very popular in the United States, especially in the campfire, camping, barbecue kind of venues. So that's what it is. Koozie is a brand name. I think they're technically called can cozies. Kind of like a tea cozy, but like instead of for your teapot, it's for your beer can. But you could put, they make them for soda can. Soda can is the same size, but they also make them for like the seltzers, the tall, thin cans. They make them for bottles too. A lot of times they have a zipper. It's very strange. All right. Martin Pescia says, I'm so excited to run Chicago. I'm going to take it easy, enjoy the crowd vibes, as I also have New York City in November, and I'm nursing a glute strain. I think that's a good plan, especially if you're not feeling 100%. Yeah, I think with the way that the winds were looking, I was like, ooh, the winds could trip people up for the marathon this year because it's coming out of the west. And so then the part where people usually overdo it, I think, is when you come back through downtown and then go west. There's like a west kind of like a little clover leaf that you do. Then you'll have a headwind for like 3 miles. And that's a part where people tend to run too fast already. I feel like with a slight headwind and running a little too hard, people might be cooking themselves in that section. So taking it easy, I think, is going to be good. Ben Young says, running shoe question. Will the Nova Blast 3 last me another 70 miles from 280 to 350 out of shoes that aren't working out and a half in 7 weeks? Thanks. Yeah. Oh, you're out of shoes that aren't for working out and you have a half in 7 weeks. I mean, that's a part where it could go at any moment. You know what I mean? So will it? Probably. The question is it worth it for you to take the risk? For me, I'd probably pick up another shoe. Unless you're like thinking like after that half marathon, you're done running and you don't want to have any shoes left over, then yeah, probably take the Nova Blast 3 all the way to the end. But like, I might look for another, at least start the search for a new one. So that way, like if something starts bothering you and you're like, I don't know why my heel hurts all of a sudden, it's probably because the shoes are starting to go. Video says, the Assefa world record seems too crazy to be true. She runs back-to-back half PRs, 66:20, 65:33, and last 10K marathon only 10 seconds off her 10K PR. It's some kind of shoe. You know what? I said the same thing about her last year when she had an 18-minute PR to break the course record in Berlin. So she didn't come out of nowhere. Last year, I felt like she came out of nowhere. And I was like, 18-minute PR, breaking a course record. What's that all about? She had the second fastest time in the world, only behind Bridget Kosgei in Chicago. And so then I was like, who's this? But now, 2 years in a row, massive performances in Berlin. So it is some kind of shoe. And it's an eyebrow-raising performance. Anytime you break a world record by that much, for sure, it's going to be eyebrow-raising. But I feel like it's not, to me, this year's result is not as shocking as last year's result. You know, I mean, it's so hard to get too excited, anymore, but I'm slowly starting to get excited about it, Fred Brodsky says, my 30-year-old son, who hates running, tried running a mile on a lark yesterday and clocked in at 5:13. 5:13? That's an amazing time. That's faster than I could run a mile today for sure. Scuba Sun said, yeah, Megan Murray just Instagrammed the New Balance SC Elite version 4. I saw that she had the box, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. They've run in it already, or something that's like it already. I won't tell you where, but I think that they've mentioned where. But yeah, but it's exciting that now that she actually has a box. So maybe I can get one. I would like one. Eliza wants to know about the Ultra Forward. I mean, I think we talked about this the other day in the live stream, if I recall correctly. But again, it's something that I've been saying for a long time. And then I was listening on today's run, Thomas and Robbie's interview of the founder of Ultra, where I'm not the only one that's been saying to Ultra that they need to make a non-zero drop shoe. And I just feel like I'm so happy that they're dropping the whole balanced cushioning thing, and going back to just calling their shoes zero drop, and then ones that aren't zero drop, they're going to call low drop. It just makes so much more sense. It's so much more straightforward. They were bending backwards over themselves to say like, oh, well, it's balanced cushioning because it's the same in the front as in the back. And like the way that they would talk about they didn't admit in this interview. I thought he came very close to admitting it accidentally, but like that Vanish Carbon, I've got it around here somewhere. Really good shoe. It doesn't feel like a zero drop shoe, And so like, I feel like they've been Folgers crystalling us for a couple of years now with the Vanish series. I feel like that's been a 4mm drop shoe that they've just been measuring funny to get around the rules, and being able to call it zero drop. But like, I feel like if they made an Escalante that like, I was listening to the interview and they're like, oh, we did all this analysis and this stuff and we created this brand new shoe. And I was like, what'd you create a brand new shoe for? The heritage of the brand is putting shoes in a toaster oven and slapping on a different midsole when the glue dislodged from the original shoe. Why are they designing a whole new shoe to make a 4mm drop shoe? Take an Escalante, put it in a toaster oven, switch it out for a different midsole that's got a 4mm drop. Boom, you're done. And they were talking about someone else was telling me, they didn't mention it in the podcast today in the interview, but someone else was telling me that I'm not angry. It sounds like I'm angry. I kind of feel angry about it, but I don't understand why it's just not we took the Escalante and gave it a 4mm drop. Why is that not it? Or we took the Torin. I don't like the Torin. It's a stability shoe in disguise, but it's a very popular shoe for them. Or a Lone Peak. And we took a Lone Peak, made it for the road, and gave it a 4mm drop. That should have been the story. We want you to be able to run in this to transition to our already excellent library. But if you can't get there because the transition from 12 millimeter drop to 0 is too much, we got this. It shouldn't have been the ultra forward. It should have been the ultra transition. Or something else that means temporary. Effervescence, not a good word, but something along those lines, or dream. Just call it the ultra dream, something that just goes away after a little while. You use it to get yourself to the rest of the library, but I'm not in the marketing department. But otherwise, I think it's going to be a great shoe. Hopefully they sell a ton of them. Hopefully it does really well. I think it's something they needed to do a long time ago. Yeah. Go Running with Olive says, in the Shakeout ad, I see Thomas and you. Who's that third person that Thomas is hugging? That's Megan. Calvin Huang says, a lot of you guys are in the chat are talking about downhill races. Now, I'm not going to jump in on that one because I love downhill races. Do I think that Revel Races takes it a little bit far? Maybe. But I ran a 2,000-foot downhill course to get my first BQ. That's not the one I got my Boston Marathon bib on, but the first time I did. But Calvin says that he got into it on social media with a guy complaining about the women's BQ standard. And meanwhile, he ran a Revel race to BQ. I think it's funny. People, I understand why people get really touchy about the BQs and how people BQs and whether it was a real BQ or not. Do you guys remember? There was a time when people would call each other out for running their BQs in carbon-plated shoes because that was somehow considered cheating too. So I just feel like there's always something where there's real BQs, quote unquote, and then fake BQs. And I just feel like I like the Boston Marathon's approach to it. If it's a certified distance of a course, we'll take it. That's all they care about. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the right approach. Here's where I feel like it needs to go a step further. I feel like this whole cutoff thing is garbage. I think that what they need to do is once you have a BQ, you can enter a lottery. That's how trail races do it. And I never thought I'd say this, but the road races should do things more like the trail races, where you if you BQ, you get to put your name in, and it's a lottery, straight lottery after that. And that's it. It solves a lot of problems for them, really, but and then it ends this kind of hand wringing that we all have to do every year about did you get in or not? Where did you get it? Was it real or not? Who else's are real? It's very, very silly. In the big scheme of things. So, yeah. Mark Mayer says, are you going to do a Chicago Marathon motivation video for this year? Love the ones from years past. I'm not going to do one for this year. I think it's been hard for me to do one because I haven't been targeting the Chicago Marathon like I have in years past. And so it's been hard. Last year, did I do one last year? I don't remember if I did one last year. The last one I did was actually commissioned by Bank of America, which was very nice. That was a really nice paycheck. But it's hard when I'm not training for it myself, because you know what I mean? My mindset's not there. So I can get excited about it, but it's not the same. It's not, I think, what you guys need. And so I don't know. So there won't be this one this year. One of those this year. Tales of Millet says, any plans for MNG or shakeout runs in New York? I don't know what MNG is. You have to tell me what MNG is. But for shakeout runs in New York, yes. I'll have more details, but I'm going to be doing a shakeout run, I think Friday night. Yes, Friday night. The same night as the gala. Because I was thinking about going to the gala, but I would have had to pay $1,000 for a ticket. But I was like, you know what? This will be a great opportunity to be, at least going to the same room and rubbing elbows with the people that are sending me the nasty grams about running New York City Marathon with a selfie stick. So that could be a good thing. And if the money goes to a good cause. And, but then I was like, then someone was like, would you like to do a shakeout run? And I was like, yes. So that was a multi-$1,000 swing. Instead of me paying $1,000, I'm going to getting paid to do this shakeout run, so that'll be nice. And then I'm going. I think I'll be at Thomas and Megan's or the Believe in the Run one. I'm not like part of the train to New York, but I'll be there. Where else would I be? So I'll be part of that one. I told Thomas I would lead a pace group, like if they need me to run like 12-minute pace group or something. So that way we can help make sure that some more paces are represented at that. So Friday night, Saturday morning, I'll be around. I'll be around all weekend. So. Sean Devlin says, no one will ever be happy with the BQ situation. It's impossible to be fair to everyone, but I wish they would guarantee first-time BQers an entry, just so more can experience. I love that idea. If it's your first BQ like submission, you're prioritized. I love that. Can you imagine if there was a Boston Marathon where every single bib was a first-time Boston Marathoner? That'd be amazing. And then the questions are like, well, what about the people who have 14-year running streaks? If you have a 14-year Boston Marathon running streak, you can certainly afford to do a charity bib and keep that streak alive at 15. That's what I think. I love your idea, Sean. That's great. That's going to be my new idea. If it's your first time, you automatically are in until the spots are filled. If there's too many, then it's a lottery of the first timers and no repeats if you've ever run before. And then if there's any space left over for the repeats, then those people are in a lottery, straight lottery. It's not by who's the fastest. That's how I think it should go. Love that. Love that. Video Guy Man 7 says, at what times do you like to wear arm sleeves and gloves? I wore gloves for a lot of the weekend in Italy. It was in the mid 40s when we started in running in the morning. And so I would have my gloves on for the first like hour or so of running. Now we're not running marathon pace, so it's a little bit different. For Chicago, I would recommend if the weather holds. So if you had to pack clothes today, I would pack light running gloves that you're comfortable tossing. If nothing else, you'll wear them before the race starts in the corrals, and then once the race starts, you can get rid of them or whatever. But you at least want to have warm hat, warm gloves for that morning, and like long layers. Otherwise, you're going to shiver like crazy. Sleep Singer says, how many miles do you think the Mach 5 can last? I've heard somewhere around 150 miles. I'm hard on shoes too, by the way. Yeah, I mean, I took mine to 100, like I take most of my shoes, and I felt like it had a surprising amount of life left. I've heard it go both ways. Some people say it only lasts 150 miles, which feels really, really short. But I've heard it, and I'm very skeptical about that number, but I've heard people say that they have over 500 and it's still great, which I'm also like skeptical about that. I'm like, that seems like an outlier. Not that these people are not telling me the truth, but I don't feel like these are representative, like other people can expect similar results. So that's kind of where I feel with that one, where it could be, if you're hard on shoes, I would say probably like 225, maybe 200, but 150 seems a little bit short. All right, guys, I got to get going because I have a call that I got to be at in a minute and a half, and I need more water before my next call. But tomorrow I'm going to go for a run in these crazy Adidas shoes, and I won't forget to weigh them first. And then we won't have a video, but we will have another live stream, same time as today, at 1 p.m. Central Time. Should we do a game? Do we need to do a game? I got another good unboxing for tomorrow, so I think maybe we should do that. Maybe we'll do a game later in the week, but we'll just do a regular live stream tomorrow, same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I'll see you then. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.